Welcome back, and for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kareen. I was sentenced to 14 months in Bronzefield Women's Maximum Security Prison here in the UK, and today we're doing story time. So, when I was taken to court, they gave me 6 weeks, and then they put me straight on remand. So after I'd done the 6 weeks, I wasn't allowed out till my next court date. So I get in the Serco van, and the woman there was a guy driving and a woman who was there with him, and she goes, "Oh, do you mind loud music?" And I was like, "No." And so they put me in this little, in the Serco vans, they've got like little box rooms with you can literally just fit on a chair, and then they lock you in. So I'm in there, and then all of a sudden this drum and bass music that was so freaking loud, and I was still on a come down, and it was blaring, and I was like, oh, I just wanted it to stop. And then all of a sudden I hear them scream, and the brakes go on, and I thought, because you're in a little metal box, so I smacked my face on the metal. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they've hit someone, because the music's so loud. It turned out when I got there, I was like, what happened? They were like, oh, a cat came out in front of the van, so they had to put the brakes on. Anyway, so I get to Bronzefield. You have to go through several gates, and then they took me out, and I went into the bit where where you get processed, right? So this guy at the desk, and he was taking my name and that, and then I had to have my photo taken, which I've got somewhere. I've got to find it. So you have your mugshot done, and then they make you a little card, and it has your picture on it, your name, your prison number. So after that, they put me in the side room, and it had these plastic blue sofas. And as I walked in, there's another two women in there. One was a blonde Polish lady, and the other one was, I'm not going to say her name, but actually she won't mind. Her name was Nikki, and I didn't know either of them. And I've walked in all cheerful because I was glad not to be in the police station, and I'm like, "Hi," and she's like, "Why are you so happy?" And I was like, "I don't know, because I don't really care that I'm here." Anyway, so me and Nikki started talking, and then this other lady, I know it's mean, and we didn't say it to her, but we nicknamed her between ourselves Anti-Freeze, because in the middle of a conversation, she would just suddenly go, and we'd be like, and then she'd literally just freeze, and then she'd talk like nothing happened. It was really strange. She obviously had mental health problems. It's actually really sad, because the amount of people that come in that have mental health problems, they've got nowhere to put them, so they just put them in prison, and they need help. So me and Nikki are talking, and then they put someone else in the room with us, and it was a skinny, short lady, really short red hair, and she had an eye that kind of looked the other way, so you couldn't tell if she was looking at you properly. So we're sitting there talking, and she just comes up to me, and she's like, "Can you scratch my back?" And she lifts her shirt up, and I looked at Nikki, and I was like, and then I told her, I was like, "No, I'm not going to scratch your back. What are you talking about?" Anyway, so she scurried off the other side. She's acting erratic as well. She's pacing back and forward, looking out the windows. And she sits down in the end in the corner, curled up like this. Obviously, she's not mentally well either. And then they put someone else in with us, and this lady was a very large lady, and she stunk of urine. She obviously wasn't well either. She had long scraggly hair that was all knotted. And when you go in to prison, they offer you a microwavable meal, and they're naff, but if you're hungry, you can eat it. So what happened was this woman come in. Sorry, my dog's just appeared. Come here then. Come here. Yes, this is Wednesday, everybody. Yeah, okay, come on then, sit down. Sit down nicely. Oh my god, she's knocked my microphone off. Wednesday, stop. Oh my god, the double chin, I just... You're making me have a double chin. Stop. Right. Anyway, so this woman come in, the one that smelled of wee, and she's like scoffing this microwavable meal like she's never eaten before. And as she's doing it, she's like laughing hysterically and going, "Once I was on a football field and I took a shit on it." Get down. No. Enough. Right, anyway. So she's laughing like erratically, and then this other lady, then they put another person in, and this is a trans person, like female to male, and they were sitting there and they had like they obviously drug problems, and he had like white foam coming out of his mouth, and he was like spitting on the floor. And when you go in, you get given a pack of vapes. And we haven't been given, Nikki didn't smoke and I haven't been given mine yet, and even if I had, I'm not letting him have any. Like, he's got white froth coming from his face and he's spitting and swearing, and we're all locked in this room, like we can't get out, and me and Nikki like, oh my god, and we were in there like 4 hours, right? This was going on for 4 hours, and me and Nikki were the only ones that were kind of like compos mentis. We were the only ones that kind of knew what was going on. I felt bad for them, but it was also a really bizarre situation to be in. So the woman with the short red hair, she was looking towards me and Nikki. We couldn't, because of her eye, we couldn't tell who she was looking at. And she was going, "Have you got a sister?" And I was like, we were like, "Who are you talking to?" And she went, "I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I've got a dodgy eye." And we were like, "No, we just didn't know who you were talking to, because we didn't want to be mean." And oh, it was so weird. It was such a weird situation to be in. And then the screw opened the door and she looked at me and Nick and she went, "I'm really sorry, we won't be long," and then locked the door again. And we were like, so basically when you go in, they what they do is they do a urine test to see if you've got on any drugs. And I had a bit of cocaine still in my system. So they put, and Nikki had alcohol. I don't know why they put her in on the ones with alcohol. So you've got the ones, the twos, the threes, the fours is a privileged wing, and then there's a block 5, but it wasn't being used. That was for rottles. Rottles is where you get to go to work and then come back to prison, but because of COVID, that was all shut down. Anyway, so they've put me and Nikki, they've said to me and Nikki, we were like, "Where are we going? Like, where are you putting us?" And they were like, "The ones." And we've just looked, because I've been in prison before, Nikki had been in prison before, and I was like, ugh. Because the ones, right, and I've been an addict myself, so I'm not being horrible, but it's full of just addicts and they all steal from each other. The noise is incredible, banging constantly, screaming constantly, a lot of mental health. And then in the night, so me and Nikki get in our cell and we're like, oh my god, like I can't believe this is happening. So we're like telling each other our stories, like what had been happening with her, and I explained what had been happening with me. And we were like, because we asked to go in the same cell together because we didn't want to be put in with someone we didn't know. Anyway, so we're just talking in that, and the noise, and then in the night we could hear people throwing up, like because they were withdrawing from heroin and stuff, so they were really ill, and the nurses hadn't given them their methadone, so they were screaming like help, like, and they were like, we can't do anything till the nurses come back on in the morning. So that was really horrible, hearing people like in that state. So yeah, me and Nikki were like there for like 2 days, and then we said to her, this Polish screw, she was really nice, we were like, look, we're not drug addicts. We're like, we use recreationally, but we're not addicted. Please, can you get us off of the ones? So luckily they put us on the twos, and they moved us to like 3 different cells before they made them wind up where we were going. In the end, we ended up on the twos on B wing, and there was so many big characters on there. And on Fran's channel, I did a live yesterday. We spoke about a guy called TJ and how I nearly had like a massive fight with him, and that's taken him off the wing. And because his girlfriend had left her baby to die while she went out clubbing, she left the baby for 6 days, and she was like running around the wing laughing and joking, and me and my mates like were thinking of like beating her up. Where I got back to her screws, so she got shipped out to another prison. It was just like a whole commotion, but there was such strong characters on there. There was like so many fights and arguments. And then when they'd lock us in, sometimes they'd lock us in for like 23 hours a day and they would not let us out. Now, I loved having a cellmate as long as I could choose who was with me, and Nikki was who I was with at this point. We had a laugh. I needed someone to spend time with. If I was stuck in isolation for 23 hours a day watching David Dickinson's Real Deal and bloody Antiques Roadshow, I would have gone off my nut. But when they would lock us in for 23 hours a day for like long periods of time, it's like 4 days, and we only got like an hour out to get a shower, go on the pod. So the pod's where you like choose your menu of what you're going to eat and stuff, which sounds great, but it's not. It's rubbish food. But you know, we're in prison, we deserved it. I speak really fast because I have ADHD, so I'm trying to slow it down. So basically, when they'd locked us in for so many days, you could feel, when they really opened all the doors, you could feel the atmosphere, and you knew something was going to pop off. You knew there was going to be fight or drama, or something was going to go on. So there was this girl, so they put this girl called Becky, and they put her on our wing, and because she'd gone on other wings and everyone had got so angry with her, she had to go on our wing. And what she'd do is she would cause a massive scene for attention, and so and because we got really annoyed with her, because every time she'd do something, we'd all get locked up. They'd bang us all up. So like, we were like, look, if you carry on doing it, you're gonna get beaten up. Pack it in. You're attention seeking. This one day we're all sitting there on the chairs at top of the landing talking, and she's just suddenly gone, like, I'm pretending to have some like seizure, and like it's funny because she wasn't. So they're like, code blue, all the bloody staff come running in, and we all get locked up, and she was faking it. So anyway, so we got really pissed off with her. We was like, right, don't bloody do it anymore, because we've had enough. We're getting locked up because of you. So what she'd do is she'd wait, because at 6 o'clock, sometimes earlier, we'd get locked up for the night. So she'd wait right until we were going to get locked up anyway, and then she'd cause a scene, because she knew that we weren't going to be annoyed because we're going to get locked up anyway. So this one day, she's had an argument with this screw. It was a male, and she's just done this most weak, pathetic little punch, and he's literally thrown her on the floor, and her belly's gone like because she was overweight like I am, so I'm not being mean, but yeah, her belly, her like fat belly just went on the floor. And the next day she was like to everyone, like, yeah, I whacked him well hard and all this. But the girls had seen through their hatches that what had happened. And we were just like, oh. And so every day at 6 o'clock, I'd be like, uh-oh, girls, it's Becky o'clock. Because we knew every day at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, it was Becky o'clock. She was going to cause a scene. And then, so the next day, in the wing, there's like a little room with windows, and that's where the screws sit, and it can be locked. So that there's this guard, like a screw called Saeed, and he was in there, and Becky's gone into this like room, and she's stood in front of the door, and she's literally held him hostage, and he couldn't get out, and all the guards come running, and they're all trying to prise this door open. She's quite a big girl, right? She's like literally stopping him getting out. Now, do you know what? He did really good, because he stayed really calm. But one of the other screws said to me, they have the right to whack her in the mouth, like punch her in the face, if she does something like that. They're legally allowed to hit her if somebody like puts their life in danger. They're allowed to hit them. And he said if she had locked him in there, he would have smacked her in the mouth. I don't really agree with that. She's obviously not mentally right, and she's got I think she had some sort of Munchausen problem where she craved some sort of attention. But yeah, when the guard threw her that time as well, it really hurt her arm. Like, she did have like a massive like lump, so they had to take her to the hospital, but it was fine. So yeah, that was the story of Becky. It was madness in there. There was something every single day, and because you're bored, like little things like that are entertaining. Like, everyone would be looking through the hatches. There was this one time though, and this was really, really horrible. So they put a new girl called Emily on our wing, and they put her in with a girl called Paris. And Paris was a pain in the backside, but that's another story. So this girl, she went into Paris's cell, and they were like cellmates, but they didn't know each other. So we're all like doing our own thing, and then they go to bang us up, and Paris comes running out of her cell, like white as a sheet, shaking. She can't breathe. She's like, and all she could say is, she's dead, she's dead. She wasn't, luckily. But so me and another girl, Shannon, who ended up getting 30 years, I'll tell that story another day, we've gone running in, and one of the screw that was on was new. Now what he should have done was called over the thing code blue, so all the staff would come running, but he didn't. He panicked and he ran off to get them. If she had no pulse and he's run off, that's time wasted that he could have been resuscitating her. So me and Shannon had to check for a pulse, and luckily she still had one, because we'd have had to have done resuscitation on her because the guard ran off. Because the thing is, they haven't got enough staff, and when they do have staff, they quit. They don't want to be there. It's horrible. The girls give them a hard time. There's a guy called, what is his name? Cass. And I don't hate him, but I really disliked him. The dog keeps hitting the camera. Right, I really dislike this guy, and he gave this new screw such a hard time. He was like bullying him. So yeah, anyway, this guy's ran off in a panic, and then when all the staff did get there, they ran in to help Emily, but Paris was having a complete panic attack, and her hands had all seized up, because when you have a panic attack, like, your hands will go numb and they seize up, and then she was panicking even more. So me and Shannon were like calming her down. We're like, calm down, take deep breaths, it's normal, you're just having a panic attack, your hands will go back to normal. And we managed to calm her down. And then this screw started having a go at me and Shannon. We were like, what are you on about, mate? Like, we're helping her. Like, you're busy sorting Emily out, we're trying to stop Paris from ending up having to need help from the paramedics. Like, what's the problem? After that, they came and the woman come and apologised to us. But I thought, do you know what I mean? If it wasn't for us, she would have passed out. She was on the verge of, like, passing out from a panic attack. So they got her on the floor, and then her heart, Emily, her heart did stop. But so we're looking, they've locked us all up. All the guards have come in, and like, they've locked us all up, and we're looking through this tiny little gap because they'd shut the hatches so we couldn't see. And she was right outside mine. And I had a different cellmate at this point. I had a cellmate, my cellmate was called Paige. Nikki had actually gone home. So we were looking through the crack, and they had to get the defibrillator, and they were resuscitating her. Thank God she was okay. They said it was an epileptic fit. The thing is, right, it wasn't like this summer gone, it was the one before, and it was like 40-degree heat in London. There's no windows, and the little vents are blocked up with dust. We had no air, and in the cells it was over 40. It was over 40 degrees. We were like sweating. We were literally walking around in our cell, me and my pad mate, in just knickers, no top, nothing. And it felt like you're suffocating. And the only time that I cried in prison is because I felt like I couldn't breathe because it was so hot, and I started to panic because I felt like trapped. Like, I felt like stuck. Like, I was like, I couldn't get my breath. Like, the sweat was dripping from us. And do you know what they said? They said, get a wet towel. Like, how's that? It's not going to... So people were having fits. People were getting really unwell, and having an ambulance, paramedics were having to come and help them because of the heat. In the offices, they had, like, air conditioning, but on the cells, no windows, no air conditioning, loads of women bunched together. Yeah, it was awful. And then a few of the guards were really inappropriate, women and men. So me and my cellmate, Paige, like, we were really hot, so obviously we just had our knickers on. And at night they come, open the hatch, and they shine the torch through. That's fair enough, they have to do that. But one day we woke up, and like, we could see that this guard, my friend, was topless, and he was just staring at her like that for ages. And then she screamed, "Oh my God, he's seen me!" And then all of a sudden he's gone. Yeah, so like, that's why. That's disgusting. Like, we had no choice but to have no clothes on because we were literally baking. And then one day, so they come around in the evening to give us our medication, and it was a female and a male officer, and it was so hot in our cell. When they opened the cell door, even though the wing was hot, it was cooler than the cell, and they were like, "Oh God, the heat!" When they opened the door, even they were shocked at how hot it was. And we were above the laundry room as well, so it used to get even hotter. So me and my friends, right, we knew at 9 o'clock they were coming around to get on medication. We could hear them, so we'd chuck a t-shirt on. So we just had t-shirt and knickers, but we were bright red from being so hot. And this female guard, she opens the cell. She goes, "What have you two been doing together then? You look all hot and flustered." What? How inappropriate is that? For a start, it's inhumane that I know we're in prison, but we were literally, it was making us ill, the heat. And then to come and like say something like that, that's so inappropriate. Like, what? I don't understand why that was necessary. There were other things that happened, but yeah, in the end we used to sleep facing the other way, so when they put the torches in, they couldn't see our chests. So yeah, that was some prison stories. I've got many more, but my dog really wants my attention, don't you? Even though you've been for a really long walk. Aww. Anyway, I'm Corinne, I'm the True Crime Whisperer, and that was Prison Stories.